Woodland Farm, and it is a cold Monday morning. It is so cold that wood just kind of sticks together in this kind of cold weather. It's about 15 degrees, but the wind's blowing about 13 miles an hour, so hopefully the wind doesn't make a lot of noise on this. I'm in my barn, so hopefully it blocks most of the wind. But anyway, I thought I'd share today some my opening up of the Botanical Interest seeds. You know, let's set the phone down. Hopefully it doesn't blow and knock over. But Botanical Interest is a really good seed company. They have a really good variety, and I've really enjoyed their brand. So I just wanted to do an unboxing video. See what I got. Okay. If you hear a noise in the background, it's my cats running around. So I just opened up. I don't know if you can see that. This is lettuce mescaline. This looks like a pre-packaged of seeds, so I appreciate that. My wife likes all types of lettuce, so and I like a good variety for a good salad. What else we got? All right. Next thing I got is cilantro. You know, years ago I didn't really like it too much, but now I find that when I want a salad, I really like to have cilantro on it. It really sweetens up the salad and makes it adds a lot of flavor to it. So I'm really going to enjoy growing this. Parsley, Italian dark green flat. This is a really good parsley. I like to dry this and flake it and put it on various things like a piece of pizza, something like that. Parsley moss curled. My wife says when she grew up, she used to eat this like a rabbit. She'd just pop the whole thing in her mouth. She really enjoys these. Bean Bush Blue Lake 274. You know what I really like, and it looks like the next few of these are beans. They're really easy to grow, and I grew these at our last house before we moved out here to the farm. And you really don't need that much space. You just put a couple of seeds in a 3-gallon bucket, and then you get a lot of beans, and you have about 10 buckets around, and then you get a lot of beans that you can always have a meal 2 or 3 times a week from all the beans that you get from it. So very prolific. And here's another one that I don't think I've had this one before, French fillet, but I'm looking forward to trying this. And one of the things I like about Botanical Interests is that when you open it up, they got on the inside, there's usually your recipes or some kind of neat information that you can use while growing it. Okay, Pole Kentucky Wonder. I've grown this. This is a really delicious bean. Now this is something that when we were picking out seeds, my son and I, we talked about what we wanted, and I let him tell me what he liked, and get him excited about gardening. And he really wanted carrots that were colored. And so okay, yeah, we'll get this and we'll try it again this year. We have really terrible soil, so I'll have to probably bring in a little bit more soil because these need a good, more deep soil. Carrot Danvers, and this is another one that my son really wanted too. I guess he really loves his carrots, so I guess I got to encourage that. Now this is something I wanted to try for the first time this year, parsnip. Every Christmas, my wife and son and my mother, we meet up with some other people we know for a Christmas dinner at a local, kind of one of these really fancy restaurants. It's in a mansion, and they have this dish. It's parsnip, and you could taste vinegar. There's other things in there. Oh, it's so delicious that I just really wanted to try it this year. Really wanted to try growing this. Peas. Peas is another thing that's really easy to grow. You can get a lot of it. You can put them in buckets and grow a lot of it. And since I don't have really good soil here yet, peas is something I'm looking forward to growing. Got a lot of buckets around, so I'll have plenty of room for that. Ooh, so cold. I got to warm up my hands. All right, keep going through here. See what else I got. Oregon Sugar Pod. This is another very popular pea. I really like this. go into the garden, you just pull these off the vine and pop them in your mouth. Okay, I hope you can see now. I accidentally knocked over the phone here, so it'll be a little different. But hopefully you saw the Oregon sugar pod too. These are really delicious. You just pull them off the vine, pop them in your mouth. And before I forget what I'm thinking about, I actually, just a little interesting side note, I actually met the owner of Botanical Interest. Story goes back about 25 years ago, back in another lifetime. I used to work at a seed company, and I worked with this guy who currently owns Botanical Interest, and he was a really neat guy. And so that was just a job I had for about a year. Geez, I was only like 19 or something like that, 20 maybe. And a few years later, I'd say about 10 years ago, I flew back to Denver to visit my mother, and got off the airplane and walking down to the baggage terminal, and there's this guy, and I recognized him, and then it hit me who he was, and I started talking to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, I started my own seed company," and I was like, "Oh great, Curtis, that's awesome," and everything. And so when I started getting into gardening a lot more, I found his seeds, sold locally here, where I'm at, and so I started, buying them, and then, but I ordered these, directly from his company, which is somewhere between Denver and Boulder. But yeah, he's been doing really good. Looks like his seed company is doing really well. I'm seeing their seeds more and more places, and I really like the artwork that they do on there, the little helpful hints and stuff that they put on the inside of the packets. So, pepper, the poblano. Poblanos are one of my favorite peppers. I love having these stuffed, and if you like Mexican food and stuffed peppers, this is a good pepper to have. California Wonder Orange. This is a really I love color of the garden. Yeah, I think orange, yellows, and even if you can get a purple, that's great. And but when I've grown these in the past, it was just a thrill to go out and have this orange bell pepper. And then as you walk by it in the store, you see how expensive they are. You kind of pat yourself in the back for growing these. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, the ever popular California Wonder. I love my peppers, and I love adding them to salsas or whatever food I'm having. So looking forward to this one. Let's see what else we got. Sweet cherries. I love these when they're pickled, like in this jar here. I don't know if you can see that. I love these. These are delicious. I can just pop these in my mouth, but when they get pickled with a little bit of vinegar, oh, it's so good. This is the first time I'm going to try growing this. Pepper Sweet Purple Beauty. Never had a desire to do it, but when I was looking at the catalog for Botanical Interests, I was thinking, hey, why not? I'm going to give this a shot. Whew. Oh, mercy. Squash butternut. I grew this for the first time last year, and I didn't think I'd like this. I got the seeds. They were like half price somewhere. Not this brand, but some other brand. But and I really enjoyed it. My family loved eating it, and they kept really well. I mean, shoot, for 3 months after the harvest, they were so good to eat, and I'd cut them up and bake them with a little bit of brown sugar, not cinnamon, but brown sugar, and they were delicious. Brown sugar and butter. These are delicious. Swiss chard. I love chard. I didn't think I would. I'm kind of one of these meat potatoes, pizza guys, and things that are green are generally just foreign to me. But I really like chard, and the way I cook it is I stir fry it with a little bit of onion and a little bit of garlic, and dash on a little bit of Mrs. Dash, and it is so delicious. I can eat this about a bowl full. All right. I'm about to speed this up. My hands are about frozen. Hang on a second. I'm going to put on my gloves. So, I apologize. I haven't made any videos in a while for Finland Farm. We've actually kind of had a tragedy. My niece, who was 22 years old, a few weeks ago, she was killed in a car wreck. And it just really hit me hard. She had 3 kids. She wasn't married, unfortunately. But, the kids ranged from 3 months old to 4 years old, and 3 months, 2 years, 4 years old, and it's just a tragedy, you don't think about 22-year-old kids dying. And it hit me hard. And I was actually in the middle of a video editing it, and then just when that happened, I just didn't feel like finishing it, and it kind of hit me hard about this. And the whole family's just really devastated about it. But I like seeds. They kind of have a hopeful attribute to them, where a hope for something better, something delicious, something beautiful, and they represent a hope for a future, I guess you could say. It kind of sounds corny, but when you look at a package of seeds, you have this dream, oh, I'm going to grow this, oh, this is going to be so good, and stuff. So it gives you something to look forward to, and I think it's about time that start remember the past, but also planning for the future and looking forward to it. So the next package of seeds is tomato bush Ace 55, and I've heard a lot of good stuff about this. My uncle really loves these because they're very disease resistant. I never have any issues with disease. They're usually one of the last ones to get hit with some kind of fungus. So these are really good. They do really well. Sun gold, very popular seed, believe it or not. Little yellow tomatoes, and my wife is the type, she likes the really small ones that you can put on a salad. Brandywine, heirloom tomato that's been around for a while. I have a friend of mine, he's in his 70s, and he remembers growing up and eating these. He just loved Brandywine tomatoes. Tomatoes San Marzano. I tried these for the first time 2 years ago, and then I did it again last year. These are really great tomatoes, especially for canning. You can make some really good sauces with these. They do really well, and they're very prolific. I usually get more of these tomatoes than I can handle, but they're really delicious tomatoes. Oh, freezing my hands off. Might have to order another pair of hands here. Tomato speckled Roman. Very, very beautiful tomato. It's got these little yellow specks in it, and it's a really beautiful tomato. And this is also a thick tomato like the San Marzano, thick and meaty, and really good for canning. Moon and Stars. Moon and Stars was one of those watermelons. I don't do really well with watermelons, and I'm just about giving up and trying to do a really good watermelon, but I'm going to keep going at it and see if I can finally figure out what I'm doing wrong to get it done right. But Moon and Stars is one of those melons that's it's an heirloom. It's been around for a while, but the problem is they thought it was just gone and disappeared for many years. I think like from the 30s to the 80s, it was gone, and then it was discovered again, and they've been trying to bring it back. But it's basically a nice green watermelon with these big yellow moons on it. Okay, Sugar Baby. Everybody's heard of Sugar Baby watermelon. It's very sweet. This is probably the only one I've actually grown successfully, but I never got much out of it. I'm just not really good at watermelons for some reason. Hopefully I'll figure it out and get it done. Well, anyway, those are my seeds, and thank you for joining me. I'm not really good at doing videos, but as I get out here and do some gardening and just hang out and share the time and space with this nature that God gave us, I'm glad you're sharing it with me. And you can't see it now, but my cat just climbed a tree. Yeah, now what are you gonna do? Yeah, he's about 10 feet up. I may have to go rescue him.